morning show. And as mentioned at the top of the program, today is December the 9th, and it also happens to be International Anti-Corruption Day. And we're going to commemorate this day by having a conversation with a special guest who is joining us online, Ibu Maria Kresentia. She is the Director of Perempuan Antikorupsi Indonesia, or SPAK Indonesia, and she'll hopefully be able to share more insight about her organization, especially its focus on women. Good morning, Ibu Maria. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
All right. So, Bu, can you first start off by sharing with us about Perempuan Antikorupsi along with its mission? What first inspired this organization?
Okay, thank you. SPAK Indonesia, or people say in English, is I Am the Woman Against Corruption. It was launched by KPK in 2014 as a movement. This is actually based on KPK's research in 2013, which shown that only 4% of parents in the area of the research thought about honesty to the children. By honesty, this meaning that not only the definition of the word, but also the example in real life. So this is a very sad situation. And then we think that we have to do something. We have to make an intervention somehow in the family. So because the research also showed that 85% of the respondents agrees that mother is still the prominent figure in the family that taught about that instill the moral values. So we think that we have to do something with mothers and all women in general. So then together with KPK, we launched SPAK Indonesia, or Perempuan Antikorupsi, in 22nd April in 2014. The aim is to empowering women to be a powerful asset in corruption prevention through installation of moral values, which is actually moral values is the foundation of anti-corruption values.
Yeah, Ibu, and I think it's very interesting also, and it's a very unique way. I mean, again, mother and also women, especially in household, plays an important role, especially shaping, our children, the next generation from the grassroots levels. In regards to that, though, it has been a decade now with SPAK, Perempuan Antikorupsi. How has it gone so far? I mean, you were saying how the data with the numbers of women that understands or complying to honesty in the household was very minimal. Now that SPAK has been here in Indonesia for the past 10 years, things has changed? Is there a better, brighter direction now in regards to women in corruption?
Well, this is a very long journey, as you know, Carol and Paul. Corruption prevention, when we're talking about education, anti-corruption education, it's a long journey. So we have to see the result won't come in just 1 or 2 years. It may be more than 10 years, but at least we have already started from now. We always we have been doing training for women, and we have already 30 SPAK agent. We call it agent because we hope they become the agent of change in their regions. We already have agents in 34 provinces and from different educational and professional background. And we up to now we have activities with schools, program with schools, helping schools to build anti-corruption ecosystem, and then ask them to make activities which can be, what might be the laboratory, such a laboratory, we can say a laboratory, to check whether the implementation of moral values or anti-corruption values are doing well in schools. We also do some research in corruption in trafficking in person, because as you know, maybe people doesn't know that trafficking in person have a very big relation with corruption. The gateway to violations against women. So we also made some research in South South Sulawesi province to make a regulation advocacy, and then we already it's already a successful advocacy. Now in South Sulawesi, they already have a regional regulation that include corruption in trafficking in person law, corruption as the biggest gateway to prevent.
So, Ibu, let's address the elephant in the room. For me, a lot of the stories that we see in regards to those that have been, for example, arrested for corruption, gender-based, we look at it, it's a majority of men. I would like to get your perspective on the focus on empowering women to fight corruption. What role do you feel specifically is important for women to play in fighting corruption, and how does your organization specifically support women in these efforts?
Okay. Well, actually, women we have to consider women as a big power to prevent corruption, because women is the half of the population of the country.
Correct.
And as you know that women has some also have specific specific characters, like the adherence to the rules, they are cling to the ones they love, and then they always tend to make everything better, make the situation better. Women has that specific
influence,
and also they have influence. They also have many social opportunity to meet people. So actually, women has that is a powerful asset, as I told you, to have an important role in the corruption prevention. Also, we have to also note women have specific needs in life, as related to the public service. As you know, this is the basic rights was very often being corrupted, the subject of corruption. So because of this specific needs, we have to empower women to understand their rights so they can protect themselves and protect the ones they love.
Okay, that's a good
That's
point.
why women are very important in corruption prevention.
Not to mention as well that there's more and more women now in governmental roles, management positions as well. So these are the sort of roles that they can really set a good example for.
And of course, usually you were saying that usually in the corruption cases, as gender-based, there are more men, and then the woman becomes the victim. And we've seen that in a lot of cases too, that the woman becomes the victim when the perpetrator was actually, other persons.
Absolutely.
In regards to this, though, I think education and public awareness is very key in regards to SPAK that has been, going through this journey for past decade. Ibu, how is the responses by the community, especially those that is living in rural areas, in regards to this?
Okay, we have actually SPAK has developed games as a tool of anti-corruption education, and with that tool, makes easier for people make easier for the society to understand corruption and anti-corruption values, and easier to spread values in their communities. So because you have to understand we have actually problems, a narrow thought of the society that say corruption is only usage of state money, only committed by government officials, while actually everybody, including you and me, including we or this room, actually can engage to corruption by violating the values. So actually, what is important to understand is corruption is not only legal issues. It is also a behavior issue. Behavior is actually shaped by the values. So if you ask how we can invite people in the rural to engage in our activity is by using the games. So by using the games, we make corruption not a distant and close to their everyday life. So because the cases in the games is actually the cases of everyday life, and it's a very easy and fun way to learn corruption and anti-corruption. anti-corruption.
To make it more relatable, because the corruption itself, I think, is a very heavy word. I myself, I think I am guilty of sometimes corrupting other people's time, where I was supposed to meet with someone at 8 o'clock and then I came at 8:30.
Yeah.
That's already corrupting. It's a time corruption right there.
Or like finding loopholes in a system
Yes.
or working a system in a certain way. I totally understand that this is actually more a mindset for all of us. It's not just, oh, corruption, that's something that's related to something big corporations
Yeah.
or
Correct.
government. It's nothing to do with me. It has to do
Yes.
with all of us, and its impact is in all of us as well. Now, obviously, you have made a lot of headway through your organization as well, Ibu. However, what are some of the challenges that you have actually faced along with your organization along the way?
Well, yeah, the challenge is actually the one I told you. It's the mindset, the narrow mindset of the people, the society about corruption. And also nowadays, I have to admit that corruption tends to become a habit which is committed openly in public. So there's a law manipulation and everything. People are becoming they used to see corruption as something done every day without shame, without scared things. Also, it's very open in public. And it is a very big challenge for us in SPAK, a movement which is focusing in instilling values. Because instilling values is not like you fighting the corruption by law or by the police or by the
Enforcement.
atau KPK, the law enforcement. But it is actually talking about values. It is very. It needs a very long, a long energy, a big energy, and a long, it's a long journey. So we have to. It's actually the challenge is bigger now. And the fight against corruption is it's tougher, I think. But we have still have to do something to starting today. So SPAK principle is you have to start to make change in by starting from yourself. So it's not just pointing others. Rather than pointing others, it's good to start the change from yourself.
Yeah, to reflect on yourself.
Here's another example. I mean, I would argue that going off what Ibu was saying, changing a mindset, because a lot of people, for years have thought perhaps, oh, it's just common, everyone does it. But another role that women can play, perhaps even a housewife at home, is to instill this in your young ones from a very young age. As a mother, you can already instill to your kids good values and how not to work a system or find a shortcut and things of that sort as well.
And in regards to that, maybe if we as an adults, we're already living in a society, we do have, like you said, law enforcement, Ibu Maria said the KPK, but then again, with SPAK, it really mitigates, right, from the grassroots levels.
Holds us accountable.
Exactly. In regards to that, though, right here in the studio, you have two parents, Paul and also myself, Ibu Maria. Can you share with us fundamental factors that is being, teach by SPAK in regards to how can we teach and instill these moral values to our children? Let's say one of the top 3 fundamentals that we can share to our children, Ibu Maria.
Okay, so let us go back to moral values. Yeah, in corruption prevention, we know there is a nine anti-corruption values. It is actually we already knew it. Our parents already taught us from since we are young, since we are babies. So it's honesty, discipline, responsible, fairness, and there are nine. Sometimes I
9
forgot
key
the
points.
values,
Yes,
but it's actually the basic. Yeah,
Yes.
It's actually the basic values that we already know. So we just start to from the beginning in the family. We have to start implement it to the children. And one important thing is we give example, because children learn from living example. Then it's not only from speech or like a parent's speech or everything, but it has to be shown by the parents in their everyday lives. That's the very important thing, or the important point. If you ask me what to do in the family to instill the values, or to put values in the family from the very beginning. So the children understand. We have to make a frame, frame that a lot of when they are getting older and when they are getting bigger,
Yes.
teenagers or something, we have to make a frame that the violation of moral values becoming time by time, over the time, it becomes corruption action.
Yeah.
Maybe when we talk about in the table, when we have dinner together with family, we can put the discussion of moral values and how if the violation of the moral values
Correct.
can be an abuse of law.
Yes.
Actually, in the end.
Yeah, sometimes parents are blindsided by love. We're just thinking, oh, they're just children.
Sure.
Then it's okay.
We
just let them.
excuse them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit here, Ibu. And I don't know if there is an actual answer to this question, and it's not necessarily gender-based either. We have an ongoing issue in this country and it's been going on for a very long time, where in many areas around Indonesia, if something needs to get done, there is gratifications, for example, for village heads or for leaders of a certain community. And then when this gratification takes place, they just look at it as, well, this is how we need to do things in order to get things done. What is SPAK's approach in regards to handling this so that in the next 10, 20 years, that things will actually change and this actually can break the cycle of this ongoing cycle of corruption that has been ongoing?
Yeah, thank you. That is a very interesting question, because it's actually the issue that we always nail down when we make training for everybody, for teachers, for the government officials and everything. We always back to the moral values, the anti-corruption values. There are fairness. One of the values are fairness. So we try to relate that gratification actually encourage the result of the gratification is actually a fairness. You become, for instance, when you give to the teacher of our children, I don't know, maybe both of you are experienced it. Every time we give to the teacher, it's actually just to one teacher, and then we already behave unfairness to other teachers. Well, actually, all the teachers in school, including also maybe the janitor and the satpam and everything, has a big role to our children education. But why we always give? We only give the gift to the teacher in class, the classroom teacher. It must be because there is a how you call it? There's hubungan kepentingan. Yeah, it's always the power of. There's a conflict of interest in that situation. So we always nail it in every training, And the worst thing that gratification is becoming like quote unquote a tradition in Indonesia. It's already been doing years and years. So
like a culture.
People think it's a good thing. Yeah, we always cover it with it's a tradition, it's a religion. Rules and everything, we have to give something to our boss, to the teacher,
reward,
to respect them.
That's
Reward them.
right.
But actually, we never think further that it could build push or encourage the unfairness in that kind of situation. So. If I have more time, I can tell you the stories of the schools we work with. It's the teacher. It's very difficult to make them understand that. They already paid for educating the children, so they don't need any gift or reward or anything. The reward is actually when the children are becoming somebody in the society. Is actually the reward for the teacher. And also the parents. Actually, the parents has a big role in this gratification. They always think that if they don't give something to the teacher, they break the tradition or something.
It's impolite.
And never further. Yeah, it's impolite. So it's very difficult, especially in schools. It's very difficult to teach. But we always nail it every time we have a conference in the forum and the training. We always nail in that gratification is actually the root, the biggest root of the corruption nowadays.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I have to admit, I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
And because I see everyone else doing it, I thought, oh, it's just a tradition. You should bring it at the end of the year. You just kind of reward the teacher. Thank you for your hard work. I never even thought of that
My
as
class
corruption.
even has our own WhatsApp group in regards
Exactly,
to that.
right?
Like what kind of
like what can we do for the teachers?
it's like, well, what would be the
we
reward?
never thought of that. Wow, what a great perspective. I've never even thought of that.
Oh, I mean, thank you for enlightening us on that, Ibu Maria. This is something that we definitely need to discuss within amongst ourselves also. But in regards to this, Ibu Maria, as we commemorate International Anti-Corruption Day today, in regards to this, how do you see Indonesia, as a nation in the next 10 and 20 years, especially with the involvement of SPAK in Indonesia?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's an irony. Every year we celebrate Hakordia or Anti-Corruption Day, but corruption is still the biggest problem of this country. But we still have to keep our hope to build corruption-free Indonesia. In 10 to 20 years from now, we will have the demographic bonus, which is the best occasion for us, opportunity for Indonesia to make big changes, especially in corruption eradication. The demographic bonus is actually it needs a quality. It needs a youth with quality, because they will be the generation of the future. Will be the future leaders. So we have to start from now. We instill the anti-corruption values to the youth, to the from young age, and especially also to the students, to the university. We have to make them aware about these anti-corruption values and their role in the future. When they become the future leaders in 10 or 20 years from now, they will become a leader which has a commitment, a strong commitment in anti-corruption efforts. That's one thing. The second thing is we have to stay brave to speak up. So we have to stay criticize, giving inputs, and telling the good things or telling the values. Even maybe it's the opposite of what happened in our office or our company, for instance. But we have to still keep speak up, because if not, because silence will make the corruption even worse. I think that's the message from SPAK for the Hakordia this year.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, there's a lot of work and a lot of process, but we are going through a progress.
And I think we are in that transitional stage, and things are getting better. We just need to keep at it, as Ibu said. Ibu Mani, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. And once again, let's continue the ongoing fight and hope to make continued progress. And thank you as well for your contribution for Saya Perempuan Antikorupsi Indonesia. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Carol and Paul.
Thank you very much, Ibu Maria. Hopefully you had a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, I think that was a very valuable lessons.
Sorry to my kids' teachers, but you're no longer going to receive oranges or a box of donuts. No,
sometimes it is like, it's a culture, no?
It is, and I've learned that from everyone else around me. And I should know this because I was a teacher back in the day, and she is absolutely right. My biggest reward is knowing that one day the kids that I taught TOEFL, for example, they ended up graduating university with honors or ended up going abroad for continued schooling. That was more rewarding. I don't even remember if they gave me anything, and if they did, I was thankful at the time, but what was more rewarding for me was the fact that I contributed to them to become a part of society.
Now, one of the challenges, again, let's say that the children and also the parents are giving you, the presents and whatnot.
Yeah.
How could you say no?
No, we can't.
Right?
We can't. So no, and then the other parents will be like, well, she gave something. I need to give something too, right? So it's a chain that we need to break.
That's right. That's already an
Great
ecosystem.
Great
All right,
point.
so we're up for another short break right now, folks. When we return, we will bring you the world headlines. Stay tuned right here on The Simone Show, only on See Today.